Alright, here's a review of my Timney trigger for the Ruger 1022. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the trigger. It's had a few flaws and some issues, one I still needed to address with Timney. Checking the pull weight was right on where they say it needs to be. I've run about 1,000 rounds, maybe 1,500 using this trigger, but it's had some issues. We're going to go over those. First off, starting here, you can kind of see that pin goes through there. It is cracked all the way through. It's in two separate pieces. It's in nice and tight. It hasn't caused me any issues, but it has cracked, obviously. So that's an issue right there. And that's mostly from when your hammer's forward, like so, which I didn't mean to do. Usually after that 10th round, if you're not counting, if you're in a hurry, whenever your hammer comes forward, that's what it comes to rest against. Right in there. So we can get that to focus a little better. So anyway, that's where that rests at, right in there, causing some issues. Now, pay attention to note this little hex head screw right there. That has also caused me an issue inside of there. But basically, you can see through this hole here, as part of the trigger, when the hammer comes back, this is in its set position. Now, you can see there's a space between those two items right there. Now, when your bolt comes all the way back initially, your hammer comes all the way back, and you have your trigger still drawn back from when you squeezed it. Now, that catches right in there, and as you release, that click you hear is the set. Which is when on your trigger, when you release a little bit of pressure on there, it resets so you can squeeze off your next round. Now, I had an issue with mine being stuck back, and it's kind of hard to film. Anyway, it would be stuck back, and I would go to squeeze my next round, and my trigger would be like this, and it would slide up over that, and I could never, I never had the reset basically, so I could never squeeze my other round, and it caused quite a bit of issues. Take it all apart, couldn't figure out what was going on. I was very upset. That's when I noticed I had the crack in there, and this action out here never would quite happen for me. The hammer just stayed back, and that was that. So I got to messing around with it. And like I said a minute ago, move my hammer forward. After readjusting inside of here, playing with that hex screw right there, I had to tighten it just slightly, and it allowed everything to re-engage properly. And since then, I have not had any more issues with it. I guess just after 1,000 rounds, it kind of vibrated loose. Looked like there was some pipe dope, some thread dope on there to try to hold it. It still came loose somewhat, caused me the issues, but I've got it back to where it's functioning. So there is my 1022 trigger from Timney. That's kind of my review on it. The pull weight's great. I like it. Those are the two issues that I've had with it: the broken pin and not giving me the reset as needed. They come tuned, so I adjusted the screws right there, and I got it back to performing.